Welcome to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive. They're going bananas for Chris Jans and the state team as we welcome you to the SEC on ESPN. Two of the top defenses in college basketball going head-to-head in this one in a rematch from a couple of weeks ago. 9th-ranked Tennessee trying to bounce back from the weekend loss against Kentucky. And Mississippi State trying to get back on track. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Dane Bradshaw. Breaking news for this Tennessee team that without two of their starters, Santiago Vescovi, their leading scorer, and Tyreke Key, who starts the game at point guard. And they've got to try to find a way, Dane, on the road to hang with Mississippi State without two guys.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Two of your top three-point shooters and ball handlers, so they'll rely heavily on Zakai Zeigler. At just a sophomore, this guy's the heart and soul of the team, and he is the head of the snake on the defensive end. Offensively, he gets his team involved. He gets himself involved. He's been a terrific underdog story, but he's quickly become alpha dog for Tennessee. And as they look to have a bounce-back performance, he must play better than he did against Kentucky, as do the Vols. So as you mentioned, Tom, on the road, it's going to be up to number 5, one of the most exciting players in the SEC, to set the tone on both ends of the floor.
So Zeigler will get the start at point guard. Josiah Jordan-James will also get a rare start for Tennessee tonight. Zeigler had a fantastic game in the last matchup with State. 10 assists to just 2 turnovers to go with 3 steals. That was a couple of weeks ago. Tennessee led that game 16-0 at one point. They went on to cruise to an 87-53 win in Knoxville. James chased that one all the way to the bench. Oh no, he went into bully. Everybody's good. That'll get the home crowd on you fast, huh?
Yeah, already got 2 guys out. Can't have a third player out with a dog bite.
Oh, no. Right back to basketball. Mississippi State coming off of a loss to Auburn, 69-63. They're top 10 in the country in defensive efficiency. The struggles have come on this end of the floor. Tolu Smith is their go-to guy, and he puts up an air ball from 10 feet. State scoring less than 66 points a game. They're shooting only 41% as a team. But like Tennessee, they've been elite defensively. Well, Zeigler has played starters minutes, and he gets off the first shot for Tennessee that's off the mark. Kamo with the save, and State comes up with it. Same starting 5 as is typical for Chris Jans and this Mississippi State team, which has lost 5 of its last 6 after an 11-0 start to the season. Good dump down to Smith, and he gets that one to go.
And a great job there by Mississippi State, not settling for that mid-range jumper, which has not served them well throughout this season. Keep your head down, get to the rim, create some of those inside feed opportunities.
How does missing Vescovi impact Tennessee on the offensive end?
He's a great shooter. He's also the best cutter in the SEC. So the ball movement and cutting off the ball must be there for Tennessee. They can't get stagnant.
James backs it out. Mississippi State opening in man. Tennessee expects to see a heavy dose of zone tonight, but not yet. James with the floater.
You can't play it any better than that if you're Mississippi State. Off 1 foot floater, but James just better offense.
He was sensational in the matchup here at the Hump last February. Had 18 points, nailed 3 threes, but it was really the mid-range that diced up Mississippi State about a year ago. A dig down by Phillips. Shot clock at 9. Here's DJ Jeffries trying to get around big Uroš Plavšić. And a foul on the rebound will go against Mississippi State and Eric Reed. Well, Tennessee coming off of a game against Kentucky where they shot just 3 of 21 from 3.
And that wasn't even the headline, right? It was the missed layups and miscues where Rick Barnes says, hey, we can live with the missed 3-point shots. Sometimes it's just not there, but at least 4 misses right at the rim.
Including one late from Zeigler. Had a chance to tie the game. Tennessee shot 40% at home on a night where they put Chris Lofton's jersey in the rafters. There's James off the curl. And that was I know you were there, that was a big home court advantage for Tennessee, it seems.
It was a great atmosphere, and credit Kentucky. They withstood the first blow from Tennessee where the Vols got up 8-0 as Tennessee went to their bench. Had a couple defensive breakdowns, and Kentucky responded and speaking of good starts, even though it's been sloppy for Mississippi State, the first time these two teams met, it was 16-0 Tennessee. So for Mississippi State, you're getting some of that confidence early just by hanging in there for the first few minutes.
Ziegler forced a tie-up, and the jump ball possession goes to the Volunteers. They're scoring 74 points a game. And another whistle will go against Eric Reed Jr., and he'll have to have a seat here less than 3 minutes in.
That's a tough break there. It looked to me like Phillips just lost his footing. I like Tennessee trying to post him up. And yeah, there's a little bit of hand in the back, but I think Mississippi State has an argument there. That's a talented freshman, is Phillips. The more active he is on the offensive end, getting to the offensive glass, cutting, posting up, the more effective he is for the Volunteers.
Olivier Kamwa trying to put it on the floor. And the freshman Phillips is off the mark. They'd like him to be a little bit more aggressive. Only got up 2 shots in the Kentucky loss. Bank shot. It's open for Deshaun Davis.
Nobody ever stopped the ball for Tennessee. Well done by Davis.
Davis had 13 in the road loss to Auburn. 40 of State's 63 points came in the paint against the Tigers. James from the elbow. Plavsic finds it, and they'll get a foul beforehand, and they get him for a shove. That's one big, strong chicken wing that he used to fend off the State defender.
He's a physical player, and he's gained a reputation amongst the refs to keep an eye on his physicality, make sure it's all clean play. That time, got caught being a little bit too physical, throwing that chicken wing out as you described.
A lot of meat on that one. 19 points in the loss against Kentucky. He kind of had his way on the inside with Oscar Tshiebwe, and Kentucky seemed happy to let Plavsic do what he could do in the paint.
They've got great depth at the 5 spot, does Tennessee. You have Jonas Adu, who checks in with a terrific wingspan and rim protection.
It'll be Mississippi State basketball. 2 for 4 start from the floor for the Bulldogs.
And this is where Tennessee can create some turnovers. When Adu's in the game, putting ball pressure on this baseline out-of-bounds passer with that size, and they'll switch everything on the perimeter, try to get a turnover.
Wingspan of 7 feet, 5.5 inches. But he dumped it underneath him, and then Kamwa commits the foul. And that'll put Tolu Smith at the free throw line.
And this is all Tolu Smith. Tennessee got what they wanted. Tolu Smith just didn't give up on the play, back cuts. And Tennessee defended it well, but Kamwa got caught falling asleep a little bit. Well done by Smith.
Tolu Smith had a very productive outing against Auburn. Had a double-double, 20 and 10, 8 of 13 from the floor. He's been their leading scorer this season, giving State 14 points a game.
The free throw line is a story for Mississippi State, though, isn't it? I mean, and especially in conference play, this team is leaving so many points on the board. And if they're going to keep feeding Tolu Smith, the big man has to be able to go to the stripe with confidence.
Just 61% from the free throw line on the season for State. Tolu Smith has been hovering around the 53% mark. Makes 1 of 2. Jonas Adu thought about the 3. He joined us late. Tennessee is without 2 starters, Santiago Vescovi and Tyreek Key, as Julian Phillips throws in a jump shot. I'm wondering, like, what impact do you think that'll have on Ziegler's effectiveness if he's asked to play 38-plus minutes tonight?
Well, they'll rotate Josiah Jordan-James in at the point. I think one thing that's really important for Ziegler is he's so aggressive on the defensive end. With more minutes, he has to play without fouling.
Fantastic move by Cameron Matthews. He's been a 2-point specialist for State.
And you see a conscious effort by the Bulldogs of getting to the rim. They have missed so many mid-range jumpers that Coach Jansen said, guys, we got to give that shot up and start getting to the rim more, kicking it out for the 3.
Shot clock late for Phillips. Tried to get it around the baseline, but turned it over. 7-5, Mississippi State with the lead against the 9th-ranked team in the country. When we return, we'll talk about how it started versus how it's going. The topsy-turvy SEC has been turned upside down. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college is Progressive Insurance. Your home and car insurance at Progressive.com. Bradshaw, fantastic ESPN crew here in Starkville. And in the SEC, things aren't what we expected them to be. Kentucky, there's a preseason poll, was picked number 1. They're middle of the pack right now thanks to the big win against Tennessee. Arkansas is all the way down at 12. Tennessee and Auburn about where expected. Alabama better than most expected. It's just a wide range of results here in the second week of January. What gives?
Yeah, and some of the surprise teams in non-conference getting beat up come conference play, and some of the disappointing teams in non-conference starting to find their footing in conference play. And of course, the biggest story being the Kentucky Wildcats, who very well may have had a season-saving victory in Knoxville on Saturday. But quality and depth inside the Southeastern Conference right now.
They get surprising Georgia. Mike White doing a sensational job in the Classic City with his team. And they'll be at Rupp tonight. Here's Moore with the shot clock winding down. Mississippi State didn't make it 3 in their loss to Auburn. Tolu Smith kept it alive. And a foul will go against State. And I believe Smith, yep, that's his first.
Well, Smith's going to battle for this offensive glass here. Goes up once, doesn't get the whistle, and then Phillips, such a active rebounder. That's an underrated play right there. Phillips getting his nose in there, picking up a foul on Mississippi State's most valuable player.
And so the chess match is in play as Tolu Smith takes a seat. Uros Plavsic will return to play the 5 for Tennessee, coming off of that monster game that he had. A career high 19 on 9 of 11 shooting, going against the reigning National Player of the Year.
He's gotten so much better since his first season in Knoxville. Game's really about the same. He gets the same deep post touches, just has developed strength and confidence with that jump hook. Loves to go over that left shoulder.
John Calipari said it was part of the game plan. We didn't mind letting Plavsic do what he could do, but they were proud, Kentucky was, that they were able to limit Tennessee's shooting. Plavsic took his eyes off that one, and it's a Tennessee turnover after the miscue.
He's not accustomed to getting the ball outside the paint, and not sure why he was spread out that far to begin with.
Third turnover of the game for Tennessee. Mississippi State much better start tonight than in the previous matchup, when the Volunteers scored the first 16 points, and now Ziegler picks up the foul. We talked about Tennessee's backcourt depth. Ziegler has 6 games of 30-plus minutes or more this season. So he's used to being out there and playing starters minutes, 28 minutes on average, and his season high is 34 minutes. What can be expected?
And one of the reasons he has been coming off the bench is because Rick Barnes does not want him to get in early foul trouble. So far, so good, despite picking up that one right there on the nice Davis drive.
Will McNair, 6'11" senior, will handle the 5 with Tolu Smith on the bench. Stevenson, long 2. And rebounded by Kamwa. Tyler Stevenson had a good game in that Mississippi State loss at Tennessee. He was still playing hard the whole game. Ended up with 15, and now he picks up a foul trying to battle with Plavsic.
Yeah, he played well. I'm not sure Chris Jans was giving out any player of the game award
No.
so after that one. So impressive response by the Bulldogs.
We joke a lot about coaches saying, I burned the tape after that one. What did he say?
Yeah, they did not watch the tape immediately. He just felt like, given their schedule and where their head was at, he didn't want to really punish the kids' confidence. Now, they did watch a few clips coming into this game to make sure they were able to learn from it. But sometimes coaches want to toss the film in the trash, and he kind of did a hybrid model of that.
Great hands by Deshaun Davis, and it turns into a State takeaway. Another Tennessee turnover, 4th of the first 6.5 minutes for the Vols.
And Davis has some long arms, and you want to try to bother Ziegler with really active hands. We saw Adu Thiero for Kentucky be able to get some tips from behind, and Ziegler's just got to be more protective with that ball. Don't be too loose with it. One of the faster, better point guards in the SEC, but you want to try to beat him at his own game with the same ball pressure he applies on you. Do the same.
Played at Oregon State. One of the best on-ball defenders ever, Gary Payton, and he rewrote some of his Offensive records, not his lyrics, those belong to E40. Did you know Gary Payton has a bowling alley in his basement? That's where he's at if he's not in the Valley. I thought you'd listen to E40.
Did he get the design from the Hart residence?
He could have. He could have. A couple of New Yorkers going head-to-head. Davis is from the Bronx. Ziegler from Long Island. And now Ziegler switched on to Stevenson. Nice deny.
That shows you the toughness of Ziegler there. Gets switched out on the big man, and you think you have an easy post up on a smaller player, and think again.
Wow, beautiful pass. It'll be a goaltending call against Kamwa. It was the cut and the pass, and Shaquille Moore credited with the layup.
Well, the second time in this game, baseline out of bounds, Kamwa has gotten beat on a back cut, and this time it's going to be Moore. And Kamwa just took the bait as a really nice set play by Mississippi State to take advantage of Tennessee trying to play a big on a guard on that baseline out of bounds defense.
8 of State's 9 points have come in the paint against Auburn on Saturday. All 22 of the first half points came in the paint. Another State takeaway. Jones with the ball fake, flew right by. 3-ball coming, Shaquille Moore, and Mississippi State out to a 12-5 lead.
I'm telling you, Zakai Ziegler has to be more cognizant of the defense and these tip-behind plays. That time it leads to a transition 3 for Moore, and the Bulldogs playing with some confidence.
Tennessee's had 10 possession. Volunteers have turned it over 5 times. And now a foul in the post, and that'll be charged as Stevenson. That's his second. State's defense has been elite. Now it's leading to easy offense.
Here's some of that ball security that Tennessee has to keep an eye on, and Mississippi State rarely gets a ton in transition, but they're turning down shots. They are turning down a good shot for a better shot, and Moore, the recipient on that one.
On the other end, correction, the foul reportedly on Deshaun Davis, not on Stevenson. So it's the first, even though Stevenson took a seat on the bench. It puts Toby Awaka, freshman from Hyde Park, New York, at the free throw line, and he makes it a 3-point play.
He's going to get some more minutes. If Kamwa can't play the way Rick Barnes wants to every single possession, look for 11 in orange to pick up some of the slack.
Davis left his feet to deliver the pass, and Plavsic was able to deny it. 11 possessions, 5 turnovers for Tennessee. Ziegler pulls on a 3, can't find the rim.
Well, the spacing is really hurt right now with Tennessee. You look at this lineup and really no three-point shooters. When you have Vescovy, who's out this game, Tyreek Key, they would normally be at the wings right now, and you can pack it in more if you're Mississippi State.
Mississippi State went on a 7-0 run to take control of this game. And Tolu Smith, who's returned to the floor, was on a bench for a good chunk of that. Matthews drives and draws the foul. Toby Awaka with his first.
The theme of the game right now for the Bulldogs has been get to the rim, get your head down. I don't care if the defense is there, put your shoulder into them. Try to get contact at the rim, because as poor as Mississippi State has been shooting, Chris Jans' message is, hey, an inside rebound off of a missed 2 at the rim is much better than a contested mid-range shot for us.
They wanted to double check who was on the floor and who wasn't. And it looked like Toby Awaka was trying to get some coaching over in the sideline. Can't leave the floor until after the free throw from Cameron Matthews, who's got 2 coming. And he's got another one coming. Now they can get the sub out. Coming up at 9 Eastern on ESPN, it's Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive. Mike White's Georgia Bulldogs, one of the surprises in the league, headed to Rupp to take on John Calipari's Kentucky Wildcats. Also available, as always, on the ESPN app. Matthews 1 of 2 from the line.
If Mike White can somehow get the Georgia Bulldogs into the NCAA tournament, I would have to say he's front runner for SEC Coach of the Year.
Been a pretty good year at places like Tuscaloosa and Knoxville.
There have, but you've got a team in the Georgia Bulldogs that won one SEC game last year. And Mike White already has them competitive in year one.
Another near Tennessee turnover. They'll keep possession with 6 seconds on the shot clock when we return to the Hump. Home team up by 5. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. It's easy to bundle your home and car insurance at progressive.com. How about the student section tonight? Back in school here at Mississippi State. They had them packed in early. 3 dudes dressed as bananas. Is it the Bradshaw family?
Yeah, they're coming with it. I was looking for a local bar and grill to grab a bite, and it was packed with students. I realized that place is way too cool for me, so I went to a little Salsaritas instead.
Nothing too cool about great defense in 3 of the top 5 in the country in points allowed. 2 of the top 5 going head-to-head here tonight. Number 1, Houston at the top of that list. Here's Ziegler. Just beat the shot clock.
A rare defensive breakdown there for Mississippi State. As the graphic alluded to, the Bulldogs have been outstanding on this end of the court. Seeing Coach Chris Jans' detailed scouting report at the shoot-around, there's not a single out-of-bounds play, half-court play, press breaker that they do not go over or have covered coming into a matchup.
Their defense has been fantastic. 5 steals on the 6 Tennessee turnovers tonight. Both of these defenses, high steal rate, pushing 25% on either side. That's 1 out of every 4 possessions off the mark with the 3. Tolu Smith has the board. Moore, wild shot, and Camo's able to save it for Big Orange. Here's Jemai Meshack. Plavsic really battling with Tolu Smith. Threw his head back a moment ago like he had taken a shot to the chin. Perhaps best supporting actor in his future. Ziegler probes, launches another 3. He is 0 for 2 from deep. Plavsic is there. Meshack crashes the glass but leaves it short. And the Tennessee struggles at the rim have continued here in Stark Vegas.
Well, they've got to be careful settling from 3. Over half of their attempts so far have been from deep, and they haven't been great looks either. So they've got to find a way to manufacture some offense inside, get it to the paint.
Here's Jones for 3, way off the mark. Remember, State went 0 for 18 from deep in a 6-point loss to Auburn on Saturday. Tennessee without 2 starters. Akai Ziegler, their leading scorer. Pardon me, Santiago Vescovi, their leading scorer, and Tyreke Key.
This has been a tough lineup for them offensively, and I'm not surprised that they've been ineffective on this end of the court. Bring in Adu and James and just get a little more versatility in the backcourt.
7 turnovers for Tennessee here in this first half. So James and Julian Phillips should be the guys who can give Ziegler help on the offensive end. Defensively, Tennessee doing what they do. They've held State to 38% shooting. Adu with the denial. And going to reset the shot clock. That was the clock issue. They'll put it at 29.
They're going to claim Adu had possession there trying to save it, which reset the clock for Mississippi State. So
good call. There's Vescovi. He's not even dressed out tonight. And Key, Vescovi out with a shoulder injury. Key suffering a little bit of an illness. He's under the weather, which came to as a surprise to a lot of people. Took part in the shoot around. We had a great chat with him this afternoon or late morning. Nice move by Tolu Smith. Vescovi, I think they expected was going to be at least a game time decision, but Key literally was. And another Tennessee turnover trying to fit it inside. That's the 8th of the first half for the Volunteers.
That's normally a reliable play where Ziegler can just get to that elbow and feed the post, and just doesn't deliver a good pass on this one. Not on the same page.
Vescovi pleading to the officials that there is a whole fistful of jersey, and he was grabbing them.
And when you think about the Tennessee lineup they're capable of with Vescovi, Key, Ziegler, James, that's 4 primary ball handler type guys that can be on the court at one time. And right now they just don't have that mismatch with those guys out.
They combined 22 points a game between Vescovi and Key. What was that?
He saw a cutting James and good deflection by the Bulldogs.
Whoa! Aggressive line taken on the run by DJ Jeffries, who will go to the free throw line. Foul on Kamwa's his second.
Not to be a broken record, but Chris Jans told Jeffries, don't settle for those mid-range. Attack the rim. And the message has been sent and delivered with Jeffries saying, I'm going to try to catch me a body. Not quite, but going to get himself to the free throw line anyway.
So Jeffries to the free throw line with a little musical interlude, just 55% from the line on the season. Product out of Olive Branch High School, just up the road. Started his college career playing for Penny Hardaway at Memphis.
Well, it's those types of attacks that have allowed Mississippi State to really dominate the paint point so far. And when you start to look at one game to the next, where Kentucky really beat up Tennessee on the boards, they were the tougher team. And that's not the identity of a Rick Barnes program, yet now for more than just one game, it's bleeding over into this one as well. They got to establish that toughness.
Ziegler turns it over again. It's Jeffries with the great hands. He'll share on the run, and Ziegler finds the miss. Ziegler's turned it over 5 times tonight. Contrast that with his game against State earlier in the season when he had 10 assists and just 2 turnovers. The 9th team in the nation on the ropes here in the first half, down by 6. What a turnaround. Last time these teams met, Tennessee scored the first 16 points of the game, and now State taking advantage of Tennessee's sloppiness, and a lot of that coming from Mr. Dependable, Zakai Ziegler, who's playing in his 53rd game but making only his 4th career start, and he's already turned it over 5 times tonight.
Yeah, he's forcing the issue quite a bit. He's had some deflections, whether it's as a ball handler, some miscues as a passer. But the problem is when there's not other guys on the team to kind of break you down and penetrate, he feels like he's the only guy. And he's got to rely on his teammates. They got to pass, cut, move, don't let the ball stick the way this Rick Barnes offense is supposed to operate.
And then another foul on Tennessee, and Jonas Adu commits his first. The backstory to Tennessee's struggles go back to shoot around this morning when they were working against Mississippi State, the scout team's zone defense. It was turnover after turnover, and it was so bad there was almost some gallows humor like, well, you can't be that bad again tonight.
Right. Coach
but
Barnes,
yet they are.
Yeah, he told a couple guys, hey, if you turn it over again and shoot around, you aren't in the rotation now. You got it? And so right now, Mississippi State, and even out of that timeout, credit Chris Jans on that backdoor play he drew up, knowing Ziegler was going to be in denial on the wing. So the game plan for the Bulldogs has been executed to a T.
Tennessee led this game 5-3 before a 7-0 State run, and they've added to that. Tennessee has missed its last 4 shots, and the Volunteers have turned it over 4 times in the last 3.5 minutes. They let Mashack try to initiate the offense. Shot clock at 5. Only 2 Vols have touched it. Mashack for 3, way off the mark. You're telling me before the game that the next point guard option is Josiah Jordan-James.
Yeah, and they had Ziegler on the baseline running one of their favorite plays, money, that they typically do for Vescovi on some of that baseline screening action. And so, again, you're seeing the loss of Key and Vescovi right now on the Tennessee offense.
Nice drive and finish by Shaquille Moore.
And right now, the offensive woes are dictating their defense. And Moore is a left-hand driver. You cannot let him go to a strong hand. Tennessee gives up a straight line drive.
We had upset Saturday. 11 ranked teams lost in college basketball. Are we going to continue that with a huge upset on the road in the SEC tonight? Ziegler will reset. And Dane, every offensive set for Tennessee has started late, it seems.
And 30 and Orange is one of those guys that's going to have to put his head down and get to the rim a little bit more, his mid-range shot. Tennessee settling from 3. That's 10 of their 16 attempts coming from beyond the arc, and they have not been clean looks whatsoever.
Fantastic job by Chris Jans and his team tonight. Second personal foul on Jonas Aidoo. That is already the 17th foul on Tennessee. And now the question for Mississippi State that they have failed to answer is, can they make enough free throws to win a game? In the Georgia game, they went 7 of 22 from the free throw line. Just abysmal. They were minus 18 compared to Georgia at the free throw line in a game that was close.
This is a team that can finish in the top half of the league, can be 500 if their offense doesn't put so much pressure on their defense to carry them and win games. They don't have to be great. They don't even have to be average. They just can't be pitiful at the stripe or from 3.
James with the ball fake, tried to drive. Good help defense, gets it back. Got more in the air. That one hit the rim twice before falling off.
And this has been all man-to-man by Mississippi State. They like to mix in zone, but they've been so happy with their man-to-man defense, they're sticking with it right now.
Davis took his eyes off it for a moment. Here's Moore left open. And Ziegler in there to rip down the rebound. Volunteers have missed their last 8. 4 turnovers in the last 6 minutes. Just 24% shooting for Tennessee. James got it. Tennessee needed that one.
And a better look a little bit later in the shot clock. Get it rotating side to side in the half-court offense. End up with a good open look.
Will McNair calling for it. State wanted the kick out. Instead, it stayed in the hands of Shaquille Moore, and he'll go to the free throw line.
And that's Moore's capable of making those shots from the perimeter, but not somebody you just need to go flying at. Stay down on the pump fakes. But credit Moore being really good. He's hit a 3. He's gotten to the rim. I thought last game against Auburn, he showed he can drive it right a little bit too. He's not just left-hand dominant, even though that's his favorite spot.
Gilmore's got another one coming. Another great day of college basketball for you Saturday on ESPN and the app. 17th ranked Miami bid Cameron Indoor to take on Duke at noon. Then we head to Rupp, where Kentucky plays host to Texas A&M. Aggies undefeated at the top of the SEC standings on a 6-game win streak.
That was a team I saw earlier in the year, the Aggies, at the Myrtle Beach Invitational, and they were not clicking whatsoever. They've got an uphill battle to get in the NCAA tournament, but they have made a statement early on in conference play.
Yeah, they're coming off of a 41-point win against South Carolina. Thought Alabama had a beatdown win. They only won by 40 against LSU. Mashack puts it on the hardwood. Denied. Multiple dogs there to take him the other way. Chance to run for State. Mashack blew out his shoe on one end. Can't get back. The 3 is short. And just as Mashack got back, James found it.
Yeah, I've seen a player lose a shoe. I haven't seen him lose both. No wonder it took Mashack so long to get back.
Out to James. And the rebound will be off of Phillips and the other way.
Well, the aggressive defense by the Bulldogs. They see penetration. They come over and help and say, you're not going to get anything at the rim on us. As Mashack goes down and says, where's my shoe? Tennessee having problems in Starkville, Mississippi.
Coming up in the halftime report, it'll be Zubin, Fines, and Seth. They'll have a preview of tonight's Georgia-Kentucky game. Told that Xavier Wheeler will play for Kentucky tonight, although I wouldn't expect him to be in the starting lineup. And they'll break down the transfer impact in the SEC. Meanwhile, Dane Bradshaw breaks down the shooting impact on State's season so far after an 11-0 start.
You alluded to it earlier in the broadcast. If Mississippi State can just make some free throws, some three-pointers, they don't have to be great, but look at some of the top teams in conference play. Alabama, they're right there in that game if they just make their free throws at a 60% clip. Then look at Georgia, 7 of 22 on the road, and you lose by 8. You hang in there at Auburn, which hadn't lost at home in forever, and you have a chance, but you go 0 of 18 from 3. And so their offense hasn't been terrific in this one, but it's been good enough to sustain the lead, to be somewhat complimentary of their defensive effort.
Their defense has been sensational. Again, they've held Tennessee to 25% shooting, on pace for the Volunteers' lowest scoring half this season. And the floater goes. Nope, offensive foul, and they will wave it off. DJ Jeffries taking stock of it from his backside. That's his first.
It's a terrific job by James. He saw this coming before anybody else did. He hung in there and got his feet set, was there way before the player took off, took it in the chest.
Whoa, bad pass to Jeffries, stolen away, pardon me, to James, and James gets it right back. That all started with bad communication. James was late realizing that Ziegler was covered up in the backcourt.
And that can happen when you don't have one of your better passers taking the ball out of bounds, but credit to Walker for hanging in there on the rim protection against the dunk.
So we get a foul on Shaquille Moore. That'll be his first. Then just overall, this Tennessee team looks completely out of sorts on both ends tonight.
They are, and they've got essentially nothing in transition and nothing easy on the offensive end. And the message is going to be to Zakai Ziegler at halftime of, hey, we don't have a backup point guard in this game. I can't take you out and have somebody else be the primary ball handler. This is your team, your show, and I would expect 5 to respond really well in the second half.
Knocks down the free throw. Tennessee's season low in points and a half was against Maryland. They scored only 22 in the second half of that rock fight. Shot 29% against the Terps that half. Here's Matthews, beautiful spin. Plavsic erased it. Tennessee finally showing its defensive chops. Plavsic all alone, and he throws it down.
Well, it was a 5-on-4 opportunity there, and Tennessee took their time getting up the court. Wasn't the fastest fast break I've ever seen, but credit Plavsic for running the court. Ziegler keeping his head up, seeing the opening. And we'll take a look at Tennessee on that rare fast break opportunity as the Bulldog had fallen down and Tennessee took advantage. Ziegler keeping his head up, says if nobody's going to pick up Plavsic down low, I'll give him the easiest 2 of his life. Tennessee trying to get some rhythm here late in the first half.
21-17, Mississippi State out in front of Mississippi State in front of Tennessee by 4. It's a game that Mississippi State led just a few minutes ago by 9, about 4 minutes ago. Now State has gone cold, made just 1 of the last 7, and that won't solve it. Picked up by Smith, he's challenged, and then he's able to reverse it in.
Great stick-to-itiveness there by Tolu Smith. That was the principle of verticality by Tennessee's offensive players, but Smith just hung in there and such a good finisher on either side of the rim.
And now we've got a rim or a net issue that's going to cause a delay. They got to get the maintenance guys out here to fix it. The net is off right there at, 6:30 on your watch if you're looking at it from the front. Did you bring your ladder with you?
Yeah, neither team shooting that well anyway. I say play on.
These days don't even need a ladder. They just pull a lever and that thing to the floor, which makes my dunking ability better than it's ever been. There we go. Bring it down to my level. Oh, we're going to have to replace the entire interior cable.
Could you do the Vince Carter dunk contest on that rim?
Well, he's doing it right now. He's got his entire elbow in there.
No, I mean, like, I need the 360 windmill. Like, could you pull it off on that side?
I could give it a good college try. I would definitely get injured.
It can be humbling on these mini goals where you're like, you know what, I'm going to do it on 5-foot goal, whatever. It's tougher to pull off than you think.
Could I get a mini ball too? Wednesday at 9 Eastern, the SEC Network has another exciting men's college basketball matchup. Number 25 Arkansas was on the road to take on a Missouri team which just fell out of the top 25 after losing at Florida. That's at Mizzou Arena tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Arkansas has turned into a riddle now. Dane, how do you solve them?
Yeah, they don't shoot it well from three, but you can typically rely on their defensive effort and their attention to detail in the scouting report, but gave up 63 in the second half against the Vanderbilt Commodore team with a huge win there. Missouri loves to run and gun, and they'll be curious to see who can dictate the tempo in that game, as both really needing a win right now to get off the slide.
Looks like your park. We got a rim and no net. By the way, Jeffrey Simmons, former Bulldog, playing in the NFL. Nice to see Jeffrey there in the red Yankees. Former Bulldogs. What a attack last night, huh? 5 yards, didn't throw a pick, had a touchdown run. Dallas knocked off Tampa Bay and
NFC East taking over the playoffs right now.
Fan?
Yeah. For Mississippi State, a Philly kid. He signs his name, Philly. I mean, that's taking pride in a team. When you don't even put your own name on your autograph, you just go straight Philly, number 13 for the Bulldogs.
It's a 6-point Mississippi State lead. We've had a delay of about 4 minutes now, and it comes at a time where Mississippi State has struggled to put the ball through the hoop. Just one for their last 7.
For Tennessee, maybe Vescovi's shoulder will be better by the time the net gets on.
Maybe Key's fever would have broken by then. It's not easy. You get the entire cable had to be replaced, so you got to restring the net. There's an art to this.
We need a timer on this. Put them on the spot.
Kind of like see how good you can be with a Rubik's Cube?
Yeah.
How quickly.
Yeah. Or a pit stop?
Yeah. I think I just found another challenge for NBA All-Star Weekend. We talked about how topsy-turvy the SEC standings have been, and over the course of the season where the unexpected is now kind of expected in the SEC. Texas A&M, Dane, was a team that a lot of coaches in the preseason told me off to the side, they're the ones to watch out for. They struggled in the non-conference. Now they've found their stride. Nobody's slowing down Alabama. Brandon Miller had 22 in the first half against LSU. They cruised. And it really seems to be a huge difference between the top third of the league and the bottom third.
Yeah, there's a lot of terrific defensive teams in the SEC, but Alabama clearly the best offense in the SEC, and it's really not even close. As Tennessee is probably second, but you see here tonight they can be Jekyll and Hyde offensively. Auburn, not your typical Bruce Pearl style team of run and gun, a lot of threes. They hang their hat on the defensive end.
Let me ask you, Kentucky is always the story. If Kentucky is winning, they're the story. If Kentucky is losing, they're the story. Xavier Wheeler will play tonight for Kentucky, but I'm told he won't start. Is Kentucky that much better of a team with him on the bench versus on the floor?
No, I can't say that. I mean, he's a guy that keeps pressure on the defense. He can get you transition and provide a pace. Now, do I like the thought of him maybe coming off the bench to bring a different dynamic and let Cason Wallace start at the 1? I could be sold on that. And I think you also saw Reeves and Frederick, the 2 shooters on the wings, playing alongside Wallace with Toppin at the 4, Sheba at the 5. That seemed to work really well. It's not like they were on fire against Tennessee necessarily, but the spacing and continuity on the offensive end seemed to be a little bit better when you have more shooters on the court.
6-minute delay that followed this play. And the left hand of Shaquille Moore didn't just yank the net, it took it right out of the cable, which had to be restrung.
tell you, Awaka for Tennessee, though, he is a bear down low, man. I mean, he just goes up. He tries to block everything, goes after every rebound. And with Coach Barnes not happy with the way Kamwa started this game, granted, Kamwa does have 2 fouls. He had number 11 in orange ready for his opportunity.
Ziegler just kind of rode DJ Jeffries once he got on his hip. Jeffries picks up his second. Will have to go to the bench. Hamilton will replace him. And Ziegler going to the free throw. Stack tonight. Ziegler 81% from the free throw line. He's been better than he was in the non-con.
I can't recall a freshman as he was a year ago coming into a veteran-led squad with also a 5-star kid, Kennedy Chandler, at freshman, where he came in and became the heart and soul and leader of the team. I mean, that rarely happens, but just shows his natural leadership ability. Got off to a rough start in this one, but the last few minutes he's been playing a lot better and under control in the half court for Tennessee.
Hasn't turned it over outside of the first roughly 12 minutes of this game when he had 5 turnovers. Shaquille Moore's having a breakout game offensively. Here's Matthews.
It's so hard to get Tolu Smith the ball when Tennessee is sinking in because Mississippi State does not have any shooters from the outside.
That one well off the mark. As Tyler Stevenson scratched that camera. Matthews trying to get it to go. State just won for its last 8. Awaka had a mismatch. They didn't see him. Ziegler keeps it himself off the box and in.
What a patient drive by Ziegler. He recognized the big man down low did not have disadvantage on the post up, brought it out, got the ball screen in the easy 2.
Tennessee's closed it to win a 2-point game here towards the end of the half. Tolu Smith walked with it, and a State turnover. And as inefficiently as Tennessee has played through the first 19 minutes of this game, they have a chance to tie it or take the lead before the break. Tennessee multiple times tonight has failed to have an inbounder, and that's part of missing 2 starters.
It is, and some unique lineups where rarely do you see Awaka and Clausic, your 2 big men, in the game together. But
first look at the zone from State at the 1-3-1. Ziegler. And there's Phillips with the rebound.
And Rick Barnes likes to have 2 rebounders down low against a 1-3-1. That's where you have a numbers advantage. Capitalize there.
6-0 Tennessee run. About a 5-second difference between the game and shot clocks. Shot clock at 4 now. Davis gives it up, a forced 3 off the mark, and Tennessee will have a chance for the lead. James heaves it, and they'll go into the locker room tied at 23 after trailing for most of the first half. Tennessee, for the last 2+ minutes with a 6-0 run, Zakai Ziegler seemingly has figured it out. Plenty to talk about in college basketball tonight, including a preview of Georgia and Kentucky. Vaughn, Seth, and Zubin in the studio. Super Tuesday presented by Progressive from the Hump in Starkville. This is the SEC on ESPN. 9th-ranked Tennessee getting all it can handle in a rematch with Mississippi State. And we're tied at the half at 23 apiece. Welcome back, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Dane Bradshaw. What a sloppy start to this game for the 9th-ranked team in the country, playing without 2 starters, Santiago Vescovi and Tyreke Keys. Zakai Ziegler, normally reliable, was a turnover machine in the first 12 minutes.
He sure was, and that's what kept Mississippi State in the game. But credit the Bulldogs. They were extremely active defensively, and you nailed it. Zakai Ziegler's ball security just was not there early in the first half, even late in the first half until he got things going. But you see the Bulldogs being able to share the basketball, get an open look, Again, not a thing of beauty offensively, but as Tennessee calmed down, took care of the basketball, was more patient on the offensive end, they got layups against the zone. They were in rebounding position, and all of a sudden the Volunteers, despite a really ugly first half of basketball, were able to establish a little bit of momentum going into the half.
Here's a look at the numbers. 11 turnovers in the first half for Tennessee, and State turned those into 10 points. 14 of State's 23 coming in the paint, which is normal for them.
I think a big thing for Tennessee is they have to settle less from three. 15 of their 25 field goal attempts were from deep. They've got to get some paint touches and some buckets from guys like Kamwa, Plavsic, even Julian Phillips, to where the perimeter guys aren't just jacking threes.
Those post players just 3 for 5 at the rim in the first half tonight. Tennessee turning it over on 34% of its possessions. Mississippi State will start the second half of the ball. Deshaun Davis has it. DJ Jeffries and Eric Reed Jr. each playing with a couple of fouls. Reed sat for a good chunk of the first half. Post touch, Tolu Smith dumps it off. Matthews, quick recovery by Kamwa. Shot clock at 5, and all alone is Reed.
Well, just when you thought they were going to get caught with 3 seconds from Mississippi State, Matthews gets out of the lane. Tennessee a little confused on where their man was. Easy 2 for the Bulldogs.
Tennessee closed the first half on a 6-0 run. Phillips got that one blocked by Smith. How can they be better in the half court besides the turnovers?
Well, I think both of these teams are going to try to force the issue down low in the paint. But the thing we're seeing across the entire SEC, Tom, for the most part, is teams baiting guys into an outside shot like that. If you want to open up driving lanes, knock down a couple threes. Otherwise, you're going to be going up against guys just waiting on you in the paint.
Tennessee has made as many threes in this game as they did all Saturday against Kentucky. Now 3 for 16 from deep in this one. Driving a dish. And an answer on the State side from Reed. All 5 of his points coming in the second half flurry.
Those shots are going to be open for both ball clubs. Who can convert a little bit, again, to get some of that inside-out game going.
Kamwa puts it on the deck. What a screen by Plavsic, and Kamwa just went around his partner.
You called it. Kamwa did a good job just putting his head down, right side dribble, and then realized he had an opening with a little bit of a block out there by Plavsic.
Plavsic is like a barge in there. Smith sizes him up.
Yeah, good call.
That'll be the second on Plavsic.
The Bulldogs have to get some offense and some unexpected three-point shooting. Again, 0 for 18 in that loss at Auburn, but they're one of their more capable three-point threats. Reed knocks one down, and then Plavsic just doing a good job of being in the way. Kamwa finishes it off.
James brought a double, and that one was erased by Phillips. 3 defenders had eyes on that one. Ziegler with the drive.
There you go. That's a good shot for James. Turned down the corner 3 for a better mid-range shot. He's got to take more of those.
An auspicious start to this game for James, who nearly landed on Bully at the opening tip. Here's Reed again. He's got 7 now this half. He didn't score in the loss against Auburn. He went 0 for 4, and he sat for most of the first half in this one.
Yeah, really good drive there. They have to have his contributions on the offensive end. It cannot just be Tolu Smith down low for Mississippi State.
Reed only played 4:20 of the first half due to foul trouble. State showing zone.
No playoff Plavsic in there.
Little jump hook, and Matthews has the miss. Mississippi State ran a little 1-3-1 towards the end of the half. But otherwise, probably surprised Tennessee with as much man as they played on the defensive end. We got a jump ball. It'll be Tennessee basketball.
And what you're going to see from Mississippi State in this 2-3 zone, depending on who flashes in the middle, if it's a capable jump shooter, they'll guard it. If not, they will back off. And this time they show 1-3-1. It can mix into a 2-3 to where, depending on where the ball goes to.
Tennessee struggled with ball control issues working against their scout teams 1-3-1. Ziegler's floater is off. Matthews has it. Reed feeling it. Smith got away with a push off. And now another three from State. This one good from DJ Jeffries.
And the point of emphasis for Coach Chris Jans and his team was make a play for your teammate when you put the ball on the deck. They're sharing the ball extremely well right now.
Another Tennessee three. This ties it, coming out of the hands of James.
We love to see the confidence that he's playing with in and out of the lineup this year with that knee injury starting to be his normal self.
Ziegler commits the foul. It's his second. Tennessee has led just once this game. That was when it jumped to 30-28 a moment ago. And then State had a couple of answers. What a difference a half makes. Both teams struggled to put the ball through the hoop in the first half. They each have top 10 defensive units. The second half, much hotter start for both. Shaquille Moore led him in scoring, State in scoring with 9 in the first half. He's on the floor now. Jumper short from Reed. Here's Tolu Smith working on Jonas Adu. Nice move, but he couldn't finish. Matthews taps it, and State's got another offensive rebound. Third try this possession. Still nothing doing.
Missed a bunny there. Matthews, the toughest guy on this Mississippi State team, kept it alive. Missed opportunity there for the Bulldogs with a couple clean looks.
Phillips drew the foul. Looked like they knocked heads. That's going to go against Eric Reed. It's his third, and it's the second one, Dane, that kind of came with a tough luck situation.
Tennessee trying to get the ball inside and impose their will. The freshman Phillips lowers his shoulder. Looks like he created the contact there.
And it was a cylinder. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. It's easy to bundle your home and car insurance at progressive.com. That last personal foul was called a cylinder foul.
Which, by rule, the cylinder is to allow the offensive player to have his own space he's entitled to where you can't get up under their chin, so to speak, in the elbow room. But in my opinion, that looked like the offensive player went into the defense territory, lowered his shoulder trying to back him down, which is why Chris Jans was so upset by that call.
And it's the third on Reed, who had started the half red hot, and Jans takes Reed out. And Deshaun Davis commits his second personal. Tennessee tied this game towards the end of the first half on a 6-0 run, and it's been a one-possession game since.
I like this lineup for Tennessee. You've got shooting, you've got athleticism, and Kama is a big that can stretch the court a little bit.
Good hands by Adu to keep it alive, and the freshman Phillips got it.
That's the athleticism part of the equation I was talking about. Phillips so active on the offensive glass.
Nice dump down, but Tolu Smith couldn't squeeze it. Chris Jans not happy. They got to just get their hands on the ball. This is a huge opportunity for Mississippi State. A team that started the season 11-0, then struggled with a neutral site loss to Drake in Lincoln, Nebraska, opened with SEC loss to Alabama. Ziegler with the three. And Tennessee has surged ahead with a 5-point lead.
And a really good read by Ziegler. He sees the defender go under the screen, just stops and pops.
Ziegler just 1 for 7 from deep tonight, which is a good example of why they'd go under on it. And Moore fouled on the drive.
You're right, but as a point guard, you got to have a short memory like a great pitcher, and Ziegler has that. He has not stopped being the aggressor despite some of the erratic play early in the first half. And you'll see here, defender goes under. He says, no problem, I'll just step back and shoot it.
Ziegler didn't make a 3 against Kentucky on Saturday. He was 0 for 3 from deep. Shaquille Moore, junior out of Greensboro, North Carolina, played his college ball to start, and North Carolina State knocks down the first. State 7 of 12 from the free throw line. That has been their Achilles heel in close losses, as we illustrated over the course of the season already.
And Moore has done his part offensively. Mississippi State struggles to find a second double-digit scorer to complement Smith, but Moore with 11 already in this one.
Ziegler got free. Money on a play that they run for Vescovi.
You make a good Bert Bertelkamp impression. Tennessee radio color.
He's got 14 off back-to-back threes now. Jeffries has it blocked by Adu. Tolu Smith cleans it up.
Well, Tolu Smith's defender came over for the block, so he was able to benefit. Nobody boxed him out.
Volunteers have made each of their last 3 attempts. 2 of them belong to Vescovi. Pardon me, to Ziegler's taken over Vescovi's role. Then a takeaway at midcourt. And a foul on the floor after the shot by Jeffries.
We'll go back to the Ziegler 3 on that baseline screen action. The defender's going to go over the top of this. You can't do that. You want to stay attached to the hip, ride him under. Ziegler with the perfect read once again. 6 quick points really off of Ziegler's read of the defense to complement the made shot, of course.
So is it just me, or is that a role that Vescovi typically plays in that same action?
You are spot on. Now, when it's Vescovi, they are definitely staying attached to the hip, whereas with Ziegler, maybe they felt like they could go over the top there a little bit, but Ziegler made them pay. And that guy right there, Santiago Vescovi, the best cutter in the SEC off the ball. He is constantly moving.
Vescovi, their leading scorer, out with a shoulder injury, irritated it in the Kentucky game. Did not participate in shoot-around besides just some warming up today, and not dressed tonight. Tyreke Key out with an illness. Here's Moore, shot clock at 1. And Matthews rips away the rebound, and then Mashack got his hands on it.
If I get in a fight anywhere, I want Matthews on my side. I mean, this guy is, more times than not, the toughest dude on the court. Might not jump out in terms of the stat sheet, but you look at his energy, effort, and toughness, and there's not many better than Foreign Black.
He's got 7 boards tonight. I thought maybe that ball went off of his leg after Mashack had knocked it away. Nice shake by Moore, working on the big, and he draws a foul on Toby Awaka.
And such a good job there, realizing he has the big man on him. Oftentimes guards just settle from 3 when they see that mismatch and the defender's playing off. Moore stayed in attack mode, made the big guy try to move his feet, and got the advantage all the way to the cup.
And so Moore will have 2 free throws, 71% on the season. Coming up at 9 Eastern on ESPN. We'll take you to Rupp Arena in Lexington as John Calipari's Wildcats play host to surprising Georgia team, which has had a great run already this season under first-year head coach Mike White. So 9 o'clock on ESPN is always available on the app. Moore drains them both. He is perfect from the free throw line tonight, 6 for 6.
He has contributed in way more ways than just attacking the rim from the three-point line. We've talked about Mississippi State shooting woes from the stripe, so for him to go 6 of 6 is a huge victory for the Bulldogs.
State +5 at the free throw line tonight. Got a post touch for Awaka, and then they're going to get a foul And that'll be charged to Cameron Matthews.
And Waka, his strength is rebounding, shot blocking, a little bit raw down low on his one-on-one move, so Mississippi State bailed him out that time. Well, likely would have been a missed 2 at the rim.
If he looks uncomfortable at the free throw line, it's understandable. He's only 5 for 10 on the season. And to your point about his rebounding, there's no one better in the country. He collects 27% of the rebounds when he's on the floor. That is the best rate in all of college basketball.
Tennessee team told Rick Barnes in the offseason, they said, Coach, that's the strongest dude I've ever played against in my life.
I just never got to share the court with Dane Bradshaw.
Similar build as a freshman for me.
State 5 of 12 from the floor in the second half, including a couple of threes. Did not trail the entire first half. Here's Davis. Nearly turned it over. Moore finds it. And then Kamwa gets charged for the foul.
Moore doing a good job back cutting there because Ziegler's ball pressure and communication on the perimeter was elite up until that final back cut by Moore that saved an empty possession for Mississippi State.
State shooting 34% from the floor for the game. In a matchup of to the top 10 defenses in college basketball, to the top 5 scoring defenses. Moore, the hezzy, and draws the foul on Meshack, which is his first. We've got a timeout on the floor. This one looks like it's going to come down to the wire. The 9th-ranked team in the country has snuck ahead by 3. Point lead. It wasn't a great start for this Tennessee team, not just on the court, but the side of it. That's Jack. He's the current bully. And, well, he thought he was playing some basketball with Josiah Jordan-James when this game started. This was the opening tip, and Bully was going for the ball, and James almost squashed him.
Great reaction.
If you think you've seen this before, we'll take you back to 1996. Robert Baker after a touchdown catch against Georgia. Then UGA 5 went right after him. By the way,
everybody's so soft these days.
They are soft. That was a game Georgia won 56-49 in 4 overtimes. That was the first ever overtime in SEC football history. If this one goes overtime, Dane, you're going to be really late getting back home tonight. Kirby Smart was the defensive back on that Georgia team, by the way. Matt Stinchcomb was asked about it. He was on that squad, our buddy. Shaquille Moore knocks down the first. And he said in film the next day, we spent more time watching the touchdown catch and the Dogs' reaction to Robert Baker than we did watching any of the plays in a 4 overtime game. Shaquille Moore's got 15. More than doubling his season average, and now Mississippi State extends the zone to 3/4 court.
Well, you really like to hit Kamwa down low. If they stay in any type of zone, you want to get him in the middle, but there he is.
Well, he hesitated, and that hold allowed State to take it away.
You nailed it. The hesitation cost him. He had the mismatch.
And now State takes the lead on a 3 by Deshaun Davis. Go figure for either one of these teams that their defense would lead to offense. Kamwa spins. And then a bump after the offensive rebound is a foul on Sean Jones Jr.
Well, this was the great defensive effort by Mississippi State, but if Kamwa just goes straight up, he's got a bunny over the smaller defender, but instead puts it on the deck, leads to 3 on the other end. And Rick Barnes would like to yell and get mad, but he learned a lesson last game, right? He learned earlier today. Rick Barnes completely lost his voice in the second half against Kentucky.
He said, I turned to one of my assistants and I couldn't speak. So he told Justin Gainey to tell Greg Polinsky, everything's got to go through you.
He brought honey and tea over and all types of medicine to try to get the voice back just a little bit. He was able to get to a whisper on the postgame show.
He should have asked a professional, like turn to one of the broadcasters, right? Kessling's not that far from him in home games. Julian Phillips has another free throw coming. What do you think is more of a detriment for the 9th-ranked team in the country? Rick Barnes not having a voice, or Santiago Vescovi not having a healthy shoulder?
Yeah, I would. It's about the Jimmys and Joes. And Santiago Vescovi is a valuable piece out on the floor.
That go-ahead three from Davis was his first make from deep in this game, and he'll try it again. Phillips with great reach to pull that one in. In 3 minutes since Tennessee has made a field goal. Phillips, 5-star recruit, handed by Jones. Didn't play in the first half. Nobody posting for Tennessee. Shot clock at 5. And now 2 guys are posting. Ziegler, nowhere to go with it. Ball faking, a blocked shot. And it's a shot clock violation when State had a 50-foot run out on the other side. It's the 14th turnover for Tennessee tonight.
Yeah, a tough break for Mississippi State. Terrific defensive effort. But you want to be greedy if you're Chris Jans and say, I want the block and I don't want to hear the whistle blow. That's 2 points, Bulldogs, that they're going to have to earn now in the half-court set.
Half of State's makes since the break have come from behind the arc. Matthews quickly with it, back to Moore. Double clutched and put it off the window.
And he's got a terrific pump fake. And much like Santiago Vescovi, who's out for Tennessee, the lefty really sells that fake, and Tennessee has bit a number of times on 3 and black.
Plavsic went over the back for it, and he gets whistled for the foul. That's his third.
A 3 by Jahmai Mashack early in the shot clock is not what Rick Barnes wants. His role is defense, attack the glass, and run offense.
Plavsic is going to stay in with 3 right now. And it'll put Will McNair Jr. at the free throw line. He transferred from New Mexico State, came over with Chris Jans. 65% from the line. And missed the front end. Plavsic got it deep. Whoa! Followed jam by Julian Phillips.
Again, one of his greatest strengths is offensive rebounding, and he never stops moving. When that ball goes up, he is going after it.
Sky Ziegler got the start for Tennessee this game with Vescovi and Key both out.
And has not come out of the game.
No.
I mean, I thought James would play a little bit of point guard and give him some relief, but 5 in orange showing you he's in excellent condition.
Shot clock at 1. Jeffries tried a ball fake and another shot clock violation. By the way, the last volunteer to play 40 minutes in a regulation game, Jordan Bowden at Mizzou, January of 2020. That's how long it's been since somebody went the distance.
Bowden could play some D, good from 3 as well. Or that number 23 extremely well.
Best ever.
Yep. Nice short corner play there, getting Phillips the ball, and he's been just so aggressive attacking the rim. Really the only 2-point threat inside that Tennessee has had.
There's a second personal on Sean Jones, who's given Mississippi State some valuable minutes off the bench here in the second half. And meanwhile, Julian Phillips, McDonald's All-American, one recruit out of the state of South Carolina, is working on one of his best games. He's got 15 points, and it comes a game after he only scored 2 on a grand total of 2 field goal attempts against Kentucky. Phillips knocks them both down. Tennessee leads by 2. See what State has planned against Tennessee's zone. State trying to find the soft spots. May not be one. 3-ball is short. And Tolu Smith's got a board. And will take it right back up. Rakamba rejects it.
Outstanding reaction by Kamwa off a really good move by Smith.
And then Plavsic turns his ankle coming down the floor. He must have stepped on Tolu Smith's foot.
That's what it looked like.
The defensive end Tennessee was 7 blocks in this game. Watch 1 in black and 33 in orange. It might have been Reed's foot. Yep. Ooh. Plavsic able to get time stopped as he went down, and he'll be replaced by Jonas Adu, and that will leave Chad Newman with some work to do over there on the Tennessee sideline.
Been a busy guy today, has Chad Newman.
How are his tape jobs?
We put those on the clock too. That was always a race, see how fast he could get that accomplished. But on the other end, Tennessee's zone accomplishes 2 things. One, Mississippi State not a good 3-point shooting team, but allow a little bit of rest for Ziegler, but guy who hadn't taken a single play off. How about Julian Phillips?
He's got 18 now. Tennessee by 4. Largest lead of the game for Tennessee was 5. Davis working on Ziegler. Here's Jeffries. Big 3 for DJ Jeffries. His second of this half. Phillips again. And the loose ball will go out of bounds off Tennessee. Phillips had 5 points in the first half. He's got 13 in the second. Meanwhile, DJ Jeffries helping State hang in there.
Yeah, the senior out of Olive Branch, Mississippi. Catch and stick. Bulldogs trying to pull off the upset. Imagine being the ball boy and taking the wrong racket of Nadal.
Djokovic won last time out in a tidy 2 hours and 2 minutes. They had to deal with heat and rain down under. We'll get you there as soon as we finish here in Starkville. Has there ever been a Starkville to Australia toss before? Loose ball, and Mississippi State had a hand on it. Tennessee ties it up. It will stay this direction. 9 seconds left on the shot clock. With 7:04 to go in regulation. Both teams are already over their first half scoring. It was a 23-23 game at the half. And we still got 7 minutes left to play. Offenses have found more rhythm here since the break. Shot clock at 4. Turnaround jumper. Tolu Smith off.
It's so tough for him to get a quality look down low. As soon as he takes a dribble, the defenses are digging because there's just not enough respect for the outside shooters to cause alarm.
Ziegler, they went under again, and he made him pay again.
How about that? Ziegler has not come out of the game yet, and you would think this is the first minute of the game. He has a pop in his step and confidence right now here in the second half.
He can sleep well tonight, isn't he? Here's Tolu Smith working on Adu. Adu hung tough. 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
When you've got a 9'4" standing reach like Adu does, you don't always need the help to come. You can play one-on-one down low against one of the SEC's best post players.
Nearly a 5-second call. Here's Smith. Good hands by Josiah Jordan-James on the carom.
Tough possession for Mississippi State there. That's an unforced turnover. Good hands by James, but you got to be able to make that kick out fast. 9th
turnover for State. Ziegler off the window. And a timeout taken. 55-49, Tennessee with its largest lead of the game. Volunteers have gotten hot. They've made 4 out of 5. We'll break it down after this.
Zakai Ziegler coming into this game. Coach Barnes says, hey, Tyreke Key's out, so I'm not going to be able to take you out. You got to play the whole game. No problem, Coach. Oh, also, Santiago Vescovi's not playing, so I'm going to need you to make at least 3 threes. No problem, Coach. I got you. Oh, and last game, you know those missed layups? I need you to clean that up. No problem, Coach. I got that, too. After a rocky start, a little bit careless with the ball, Zakai Ziegler has taken this ball game over on both ends of the court.
And he played like Whopper juice in the first half. He has cleaned it up in the second. And looking to carry Tennessee to a road win. It's their 4th true road game of the season. After the long home win streak came to an end, and a big-time answer from Shaquille Moore, who's got now a career-high 20 points in his state uniform.
He has been phenomenal. He's been able to get to the rim, get to the free throw line, and connect from deep. He has kept Mississippi State in this thing offensively.
Ziegler got hot when they were running him off screens, playing the 2 guard. And then Phillips took over. Now Ziegler does it again.
You got to be kidding me. I mean, if you're Mississippi State, you'll live with that early in the clock. Tennessee doesn't run much offense, and Ziegler pulls up from 30.
Had a career-high 10 assists against him last time. Now he's got a career-high in points against State. 2 different balls go down. Phillips is hurt, grabbing his right ankle. Moore with the left. Phillips went back up to get it. Then his footing was lost. I think that tender ankle put him to the ground.
Well, where the bodies fell, I think he might have slipped on his own sweat. You see Moore go to the rack here, and as bodies go down.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, before that play, a couple of Tennessee players were down.
That happens on the dance floor at Dave's Dark Horse Tavern on a Friday night. State down 6. Make it 3. Deshaun Davis' second triple this half. The Bulldogs have hit some huge shots when it looked like Tennessee had a stranglehold on this game. James!
Tennessee has been red hot from 3. I thought they settled too much in the first half, but if you're making them, keep taking them.
Offensive outbursts here in the second half for both sides. Davis will pull again. Ziegler got away with a hold. Here's Moore for 3. That's off. And Kamala is fouled by Matthews. That'll be his second.
To your point, if you would have told me Mississippi State in the first 16 minutes of the second half would have 32 points and connect on 6 threes, I'd say they had the lead. But Tennessee just red hot on their own right.
Tennessee 7 of 8 from deep in the second half. No full court pressure. Kamala brings it across. Needs Ziegler. He's covered. State having to extend the half-court defense thanks to the hot shooting. And it's rebounded by DJ Jeffries. State needs a good look. Here's Moore, down 6. Davis has length on him, and James. Shot clock at 5. Davis will let it go. And an empty possession for State, a long empty possession.
I thought the last time Mississippi State was on defense, they did a better job running Tennessee off that 3-point line and say, all right, Tennessee, you've proven you can beat us from 3. Now beat us from 2.
Kamwa yanks. Got it! Whoa, where'd that come from?
I mean, that's not a look you would normally take if you're Rick Barnes early in the clock. But Kamwa is one of the stretch bigs that Tennessee has and shoots this ball with a ton of confidence. Olivier Kamwa has not been able to get it going down low. He says, you know what? Forget it. Just ISO me on the wing. A little jab step. Hand down, man down.
Falls 8 of 9 from deep this half. Here's Dave College basketball for you Saturday on ESPN and the app. 17th ranked Miami trying to bounce back. They have a trip to Cameron Indoor to take on Duke. Then we take it to Rupp, where Kentucky plays host to Texas A&M. The Aggies currently on a 6-game win streak. They'll be in action tomorrow. Before that, Tom Hart alongside Dane Bradshaw. Mississippi State has the second longest losing streak against a top 10 opponent in the SEC. The last win against a top 10 opponent came against Hollis Price, Kelvin Sampson, and 5th-ranked Oklahoma in 2002. It has been a while. Mario Austin led state scores with 18 in that game.
Well, and if they're going to pull off this comeback, it's got to start with some consecutive stops. And if you're Chris Jans, you look at a lot of three-point shots Tennessee has made, and a lot of them have been contested. And a few that you've gone under the screen on intentionally with Ziegler make him beat you from deep, and he just has.
Tolu Smith forgot it, finds it again, drives on Adu, and he'll go to the free throw line. And Dane, I would imagine that if they change what they're doing defensively and they start going over the screens, that's going to open up things for guys like James specifically, James and Julian Phillips.
Yeah, it sure is, and that's where we've seen across the SEC teams really struggling, as you pointed out, from two. I mean, a lot of teams are shooting less than 50% from two, and that's because of teams sagging off of them, and they're already in help position, daring teams to beat them from three. But right now, Tennessee is one of only a couple teams in the league that you got to respect the three-point shot on. The other, of course, being the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Mississippi State down 9. They've left 7 points at the free throw line tonight, but they've been much better from the stripe than typical. Tolu Smith goes 1 of 2. They came in last in the league at just 61% from the free throw line. Now full court man-to-man. Looking to trap. First pass. Ziegler's played every minute tonight. Phillips gets it across and a 10-second violation. Rick Barnes losing his mind. It is the 16th turnover of the game for Tennessee.
You knew it was close, and Ziegler's a guy you can trap a little bit. He's not like your typical small guard that's going to try to split the trap with his speed. He gets caught up a little bit here in the backcourt where he tries to dribble around. If you stick with it, you can cause some problems. And just to not get it over in time. To be candid, my laptop was blocking the shot clock there. What'd you see?
I think you're right, but you've got a ThinkPad the size of like a 2006 IBM computer.
A lot of storage here. So.
Yeah. Here's Jeffries. Offensive foul. Josiah Jordan-James picks up his second charge.
Yeah, and that's the second time I believe it's been specifically on Jeffries where James is just waiting on him. He says, look, I know you're coming in here. You're a little bit out of control. Come on. And Jeffries has to stop and pop there. Do a little bit of a floater.
All right, so the man pressure resulted in 1 turnover. Now they'll have Ziegler inbound it and likely want to get it back. Kamwa looking for him. There's the jump. He got him trapped, nearly walked with it. No problem for James, but then he's trapped. Phillips, the freshman, with the lob and a finish by Adu.
What a pass by Phillips, and a terrific job by Tennessee of handling the traps, getting it out of there under control, and just put it up there at the rim for Adu.
What a performance by 9th-ranked Tennessee, now largest lead of the game with under 2 minutes to play. And if they pull this one off after being a struggling offensive team in the first half. And we got a foul going the other way again on Mississippi State. This one on, I thought you said 5. There's no 5 out there. Must be on Matthews.
We'll go back to how they handled this pressure here and making yourself available. And here's Phillips. Instead of charging, under control, throws it up. Zakai Ziegler is the story of this game. But if Tennessee hangs on to win, they do not win this game on the road without the freshman Julian Phillips. He's been terrific as a rebounder and that time as a passer.
Olivier Kamwa at the free throw line. One more coming. Phillips in this game with 18 points, knocked down a couple of big threes, perfect from the free throw line. Tennessee is a team. has only missed once from the free throw line. Largest lead of the game for UT with 90 seconds to play here in Starkville. So dump off, and they got Ziegler for the foul. I think one thing from a perspective standpoint to think about when you talk about Zakai Ziegler's performance tonight is, with all due respect, just how poorly he played at the outset.
Yeah, he was out of control. He had some ill-advised passes. He was loose with the ball on his handle. He had guys tipping it from behind. But, you know, this is a guy that on the road, a lot of players would just say, man, it's not my night, and it would become more mental. But this kid's mentally tough. He's been through way more in his life than just a bad first half with 5 turnovers, and that's why Rick Barnes trusts him. I don't know that Ziegler is the best point guard in the SEC. He's up there, but I know Rick Barnes would not take any other point guard in this league rather than number 5.
Well, that was tipped up and in. It looked like it was on the rim. We did not get a goaltending call. And it's not reviewable with a ball that was on the rim. You take a look.
If they call a goaltend, if the whistle blows, they can review it, but if it does not, they can't.
Well, that is really unfair to the officials. I know it's a hard call to make anyway when your eyes are elsewhere, but for the review to be that limited makes a scoring play really tough. And now we got a walk by Kamwa, and State still has a chance here. Down 9 with 1:09 to play.
Some good, some bad against this press. Mississippi State with the 10-second call forces the travel there. Going to have to rally and make a few three-point shots. That has not been their strength on the season, but has opened up here in the second half.
They've hit 6 threes here in the second half. Matthews, no. And Shaquille Moore tracks it down. Under a minute to play. 2s or 3s doesn't matter. Just got to score and do it quickly. Davis has that rejected after a second ball fake. You need to foul, yeah? Unless you're good with it. Try to pressure Ziegler.
Yeah, try to turn him over here, and you can't get the trap. But Chris Jans put together a heck of a game plan, and their offense has failed them so many times this season. But that wasn't the reason they lost this game. They got enough from their offense here in the second half. But Tennessee just was unbelievable from deep. Even when there was a man there contesting the shot, it didn't matter.
Dane, what
a big rim.
What about Zakai Ziegler's 2 halves? First half, 0 of 6 shooting, 5 turnovers. Second half, 14 points, 0 of 6 from 3. Second half, 4 for 4 from 3 for 14 points. It didn't turn the ball over once.
Yeah, and it was really midway through the first half, around the 8-minute mark, where he calmed down. He got inside, got a layup, quit turning the ball over, and had Tennessee playing much better, because Tennessee was able to establish just a little bit of offensive rhythm and momentum to go into the locker room, and it was because of the composure that Zakai Ziegler has shown.
.24 points, a career high for Zakai Ziegler.
There may be a player as tough as Ziegler in the country, but nobody more tough than Zakai Ziegler.
Davis challenged 3. And Tennessee will be able to run out this clock. And what a win for Tennessee to come on the road after struggling in the first half in a game that was tied, and Ziegler turned it around almost by himself. Rick Barnes and Chris Jans shake hands. We'll get you to the Australian Open in just a moment. Our final score, 9th-ranked Tennessee with the win on the road, 70-59 over Mississippi State. For Dane Bradshaw, our fantastic ESPN2 crew, I'm Tom Hart. Second round of the Australian Open is coming up next.